Jó napot kívánok! Thank you very much. I will speak in English. I'm sorry. At first, let me confess that my presentation won't be so visually attractive like presentations we had opportunity to see before, since I will talk more about written sources, and especially if now we were focused on the territory of the former Hungarian kingdom, and Mrs. Professor was talking also about the influence of the legend in the Western and Southern Europe. Now we will move a little bit more to the east, to the territory of medieval Rus. I'm not going very deeply to hagiography and hagiographical picture of Saint Ladislaus. I think a lot of things were already said, and I will be focused on one specific narrative, which is also the topic of our conference. It's the story about the heroic deeds of Saint Ladislaus, because generally we can speak about two main narratives which are depicting Saint Ladislaus as a saint. In Legenda Sancti Ladislais Regis, Saint Ladislaus is more presented like confessor, but we will be focused on heroic deeds of Saint Ladislaus, which is sometimes called as historia, because this is the story which is not written in the hagiographical genre. It's not legenda as a genre. It's the text which is included in several medieval chronicles. I think it was already presented that the story was very widespread in the several parts of the Kingdom of Hungary. In the written form, this Hungarian version of Saint Ladislaus Historia, just to say, sometimes it's called Saint Ladislaus legend, but as I said, I will use the term Historia, which is also present in Turóci Chronica. So if I will say Historia of Saint Ladislaus, you can imagine that story about Saint Ladislaus rescuing the Hungarian girl who was kidnapped by the pagan warrior. So in the written form, we can find this story in the so-called composition of Hungarian chronicles, where the most famous chronicle is Chronicon Pictum, Képes Chronica. It's also present in Chronicon Pozoniensis and Chronicon Monacense in the shorter version. Chronicon Rhythmicum Henrici de Mugeln, which is written in the Latin form, but the chronicle, the text which is most similar text to the story which is depicted on the frescoes, it's the text in German chronicle written by Henrik de Mugeln, which is sometimes referred to as Ungarn Chronik. It's written in German language. And of course, we have the legend in the visual form. As we could see already, it's not only Hungarian Angevin legendary, but also the lot of mural paintings. Saint Ladislaus in Rus, I think it's a very specific topic, which was not very still reflected in Central European historiography. I will refer to this story as Slavonic history of Saint Ladislaus. Why Slavonic? This text, which is present in Russian written sources, is written in Church Slavonic language, because until 18th century, on the territory of Russia or Rus, this was the language which was the language of literacy. So this is the reason why Slavonic, history of Saint Ladislaus. In the sources in the territory of Russia or Rus, the story is referred to as Paviesť o ubíjení Batia, which means the tale of the killing of Batu. And until 1916, this story was known in the Russian historiography, but it was interpreted like story about some different historical figure. It was not identified with Saint Ladislaus and the Saint Ladislaus story. First, who identified this story with our Saint Ladislaus Historia was a Russian scholar Rozanov in 1916, and in same time in the Kingdom of Hungary it was Antal Hodinka who also identified this story as a Saint Ladislaus legend. There are two versions of this text, which is in Russian sources. One is the shorter version, which is in several Russian chronicles, and in one specific genre, which is called chronograph. This is some kind of chronicle with the aim to reflect the world history. This genre was introduced in the 15th century to Rus. And the second version is a longer version. It's present in the books which are called Menaion. It's the liturgical book of Eastern Christianity, where the hymns for each month. So also there is the story of Saint Ladislaus. In this second version, the story is connected to the story about the killing of Michal of Chernigov. The reason is the main evil hero in this story, who is Batu Khan, who is present also in the tale of the killing of Michal of Chernigov, and also in the Slavonic version of Saint Ladislaus Historia. According to several scholars, we can say it's clear that the story was included into Russian sources no later than in 1477, because the oldest preserved document is from this year. The Russian scholar Gorsky is one of the most recent. He wrote one of the most recent researches about Saint Ladislaus Historia. The question of authorship, I think it's still open. Usually, I think 50% of scholars are identifying as the author Serbian monk Pahomie, who brought also the genre of chronograph to the territory of Rus, and he was very influential, very active copyist in Moscovia. He was copying a lot of lives of saints, of Russian saints, and the interpretation is that he also inserted the story about Saint Ladislaus to Russian written sources. Other explanation is that it was some Serbian monk of unknown origin. I think the arguments, as I will explain a little bit later, are a little bit weak. I think it will be helpful if I will read you Russian version or Slavonic version of the Saint Ladislaus Historia, and and we can follow this text for better imagination. We can use this fresco cycle in Kraskovo. I'm sorry, this will be very literally translated text to preserve the most of information. So the story is called The Killing of the Evil Batu in Hungary. And this is how the wrath of God came to Oradea itself, a city of Hungary. The city is in the middle of Hungary, where there are few common trees, but plenty of fruit and an abundance of wine. The whole city is surrounded by water, and therefore the inhabitants of this fortress fear no one. In the center of the town stands a towering pillar, which greatly astonishes all who see it. This is probably the description of the statue of Saint Ladislaus on the column. At that time, the king Vladislav, this is the name which is used for Ladislaus in the Slavonic version. At that time, the king Vladislav, the ruler of this country, was the king of Hungarians, Czechs, Germans, and the whole Pomorie, which is sometimes explained like Dalmatia, as far as the Great Sea. At first, the Hungarians received baptism in the Orthodoxy from the Greeks, but the Greeks failed to translate their writings into their language, while the Romans, being close to them, forced them to follow their heresy, and it has been so ever since. The aforesaid King Vladislav also remained obedient to the Roman Church until Saint Sava, the Serbian archbishop, came to him and persuaded him to adhere to the pure Christian Greek faith, without, however, outwardly making it known, because he, Ladislaus, feared that the Hungarians would rise up against him. The most accursed Tsar Batu came to the country, destroying cities and killing God's people. When this ruler, Ladislaus, saw the wrath of God, he came to the land, weeping, and could do nothing, and about many days neither any bread nor water in his mouth, but about upon the pillar aforesaid, watching what the ungodly Tatars would do. His sister fled to the city, Oradea. His sister, Ladiva, is presented in this story as the sister of Saint Ladislaus, fled to the city, but the barbarians who reached her captured her and took her to Batu. King Vladislav was crying so much when he saw this, he began to pray to God. He was speaking, weeping, and the tears that flow from his eyes were like a river, and wherever they fell on the marble, they soaked in to know God's help. And the man stood before the king and said to him, "Because of your tears, the Lord gives your victory over the weak king." And he, Ladislaus, began to look into the face of him and spoke to him and saw no one. And when he came down from the pillar, he saw a saddle horse on which there was no one. It was standing by him carrying a battle axe, and from this he understood that God's help would help him the most. So the ruler sat on the horse, roaring, rode out of the city against those who opposed him. But when the adversaries saw this, they were overwhelmed by the fear and fled. He pursued them and destroyed a great number of the weak barbarians. The ungodly Batu fled to the Hungarian mountains, and his evil life came to an end, and the hands of the ruler of Vladislav himself. But the inhabitants living there say that Vladislav's sister, who was kidnapped, then fled with Batu. And then, when Vladislav was wrestling with Batu, his sister helped Batu, helped not to Ladislaus, but helped Batu, and so the ruler, Ladislaus, killed them both. The king was made of copper. The king was made of copper means now the author is talking about the statue sitting on a horse and holding the axe in his hand with which he had killed Batu. And he was set up on the pillar to be seen and for the remembrance of his lineage, and stands there to this day. So we see the story. It is still the story about Saint Ladislaus, but quite different. According to several authors, the the sources of this Slavonic version were obviously Hungarian written sources, which are probably the known chronicles. The scholars are also talking about local tradition. It's very probable that we see that author had a lot of information about Oradea, about the surrounding of Oradea, about the landscape. So there's probably also some local tradition. Probably author could have the opportunity to see visual sources. We mean fresco cycles. There's also included story about Saint Sava, who was converting Saint Ladislaus to Orthodoxy. And according to authors, there is also oral tradition of the inhabitants of Oradea. I think in this case, more than inhabitants, the clergy in Oradea who was cultivating the cult of Saint Ladislaus in Oradea. Now I will present just few aspects which are, I think, important when we want to identify this story which is included in Russian sources, which we want to identify this story with Hungarian narrative. Similarly to Chronicon Pictum, to Képes Chronica, there is localization is to Oradea. In Chronicon Pictum, there is Episcopus Varadiensis. So also, if we compare the localization to the other sources, we see that we are still talking about same place. Who is the enemy? In this case, it's the Tatar warrior, which is not something very surprising for us if we look on the written sources from the Kingdom of Hungary. Usually we are presenting the main evil hero as Cuman warrior, but even in Hungarian written sources there are present Tatars. For example, in one of the version of the composition of Hungarian chronicles, we can see in one of the variant the adventu cunorum quos vocant Tartaros. So author was identifying Cumans with Tartars. What I think is very important, and it can be interpreted in very various ways, is the name of the main pagan warrior. While in Hungarian tradition it's usually referred to as Osul, Osla. In Russian tradition he's presenting like Batuhan, which for the Russian territory or territory of medieval Rus, I think it's quite important, because Batuhan was the founder of Golden Horde. You know that from 13th century Russian principalities were under the strong influence of Golden Horde, and Batuhan was probably playing also the role of the symbol. This is only just to show that also in the Angevin, Hungarian Angevin legendary, they are also present not only Cumans but also Tatars. While the girl in Hungarian tradition is referred to as Puella or Virgo, in German Ungarn Chronik Jungfrauen, so also the Virgin. In the Slavonic version of Historia, it's directly sister of Saint Ladislaus. If this is the invention, or if it's the misunderstanding of Chronicon Pictum, I think this is more invention of the copyist, but also in Chronicon Pictum, Saint Ladislaus is screaming on the girl soror speciosa, so also using the name sister, but maybe more in more poetical way. Okay, this is just comparison of some other important aspects of Saint Ladislaus' Historia, when also written sources from the territory of Hungarian kingdom are interpreting this act of beheading of Cuman warrior in different way. Also Slavonic Historia is interpreting this sequence in different way when Saint Ladislaus killed Cuman Tatar warrior by himself, and there is also that other version where Saint Ladislaus killed both of them, not only the Cuman, not only the Tatar, but also his own sister. What I think is also very important in this Slavonic version is the role which the bronze statue of Saint Ladislaus in Orada, which was already mentioned, plays. There is a sequence when Saint Ladislaus is standing on the column. He is praying to the god, and I think this can be interpreted like this can be also the influence of Eastern Christianity, where we know this specific type of eremit, which were called stylites, the monks, eremites, living and praying, standing on the column, and we can find more and more Eastern influences in this Slavonic version of Historia, but I think there is no lot of space for to present these other influences. So, what are the main similarities, and why I'm talking about similarities? These are the things which are identifying this story with our Hungarian version of Saint Ladislaus Historia. The main similarities are the location, Orada and its surrounding. There's also the pagan warrior, which is Tatar, like in some Hungarian sources. Of course, motive of Ladislaus pursuing the pagan warrior and rescuing the girl. The main differences, as I said, this is the main evil, who is Batu, and interpretation, who is the girl who was kidnapped by the Tatar warrior, and also the presence of Eastern influences. You heard about the traces of Saint Ladislaus' tears, which are still visible on the marble stone. This can be also one of the Eastern influences, but we know that this aspect was also present in the local tradition of Orada, where the marble was mentioned in several written sources. Just very briefly about the place of Saint Ladislaus in Russian written sources in the milieu of Rus. I think there is very important the role which Saint Ladislaus could play in this environment. We know several military saints which were venerated in the territory of Rus. First domestic military saints venerated in the territory of Rus were Saint Boris and Gleb, which were canonized in 11th century. They were venerated like protectors of the army, the Rus, and the princely house. But in the time of 15th century, when Saint Ladislaus' Historia appears in the territory of Rus, there are several deficiencies. These saints were killed in the intrigues. They were not killed by the pagans, so they couldn't be an example of the fight against pagans warriors. Saint Michal of Chernigov, I mentioned his story. He was also canonized and venerated as a military saint, but this saint was killed by Batu Khan. He was venerated like martyr warrior, but he was venerated for his moral victory over the pagans. He was killed by Batu Khan, but still the moral victory was his main aspect. One of the very important military saints in Rus was Alexander Nevsky, venerated shortly after his death, canonized later. But his role was that he was ally of Tatars, fighting against Western Christian, Western Crusaders. And here came Saint Ladislaus. It's a very hasty overview of the saints, but Saint Ladislaus maybe could somehow fulfill this gap that in the time of 15th century, when Russian principalities were fighting against Tatars, they were deliberating themselves from the so-called Tatar yoke. It's possible that there were some need for the example of successful hero who was fighting against Tatars and who killed the founder of the Golden Horde, which was really the symbol of the Golden Horde, and to be accepted in this territory of Rus, obviously Saint Ladislaus should be presented like secretly Orthodox king. So thank you for your attention. I wanted to try to present a little bit different Saint Ladislaus, and now I think it will be time for the lunch. Thank you very much. Köszönöm.